We've all heard about the future where we're going to be flying through the metaverse, holding hands with Vitalik. Satoshi Nakamoto's spirit is going to let us do all the amazing things that blockchain is going to solve. But that hasn't been the reality, okay? What we're kind of stuck with right now is this crazy world where we're in Discords and Telegram groups, everything's full of spam, scams, rug pulls, meme coins. But that doesn't mean that the amazing future is not going to happen. So my background is I started off as a dot-com kid, okay? I left school, I saw Bill Gates give a speech about how this new thing called the internet is going to change everything, and I was immediately hooked. So I did all the dot-com stuff, I was a Flash animator, I was developing websites, and this was all good. And then my music career took off, and I spent quite a lot of years as a DJ and a producer, as an artist. I worked with some of the world's biggest artists, Skrillex, Flume, Marshmello, some European artists like Tiesto. And one thing that I saw in the music industry was your agreements, like your recording contracts, your digital rights, and your ability to create fans matters so much. So what I didn't realize is how much this little area was going to come back later on in my career. So my music career was going really good, everything was great, this was going to be my future until the pandemic hit. And I'm from Australia, so that's where I flew from to be here today. And in Australia, you couldn't go anywhere, shows were cancelled, my career was dead. So what did I do? I started looking at crypto. Crypto was the next hot thing. I dabbled with it a little bit in the past. I played cryptocurrency trading, but this time I looked at what can blockchain actually do and what can it do for me as an artist. So pretty soon I stumbled on a project called LTO Network. So LTO Network is a layer 1 blockchain project. Somehow they ended up employing me because I used to be good at hyping stuff in the music industry, so this became useful in Telegram channels. But what LTO had was something that made perfect sense to me. I was like, yeah, this is what it's going to be about, okay? This blockchain has what's called a private layer. The private layer lets you do ownership. You can own anything on the blockchain, and it's got this public layer where you can prove what you own. I was like, this is awesome, and they worked with the United Nations. They worked with Dutch government. I was like, this is the serious stuff. Let's go. So I worked with LTO Network, and I started to think about what the digital future is going to really look like with blockchain, okay? So everything that is valuable in the world, everything is going to end up being on blockchain. We've heard about this. We call it tokenization, real-world assets, okay? All your legal agreements are going to be on the blockchain because you can truly prove things in the most accurate way on the blockchain. Proof of ownership will happen through blockchain, and will all the financial products, your insurance, your loans, all this stuff's also going to happen on blockchain in the future. And now we've got AI, which is going crazy. AI needs blockchain because AI needs verifiable data. Why does AI need verifiable data? It's because AI has to make decisions based on fact, okay? So anyways, we looked at all this stuff and we came up with some technologies that we created. We created 3 things. One's called Proofy. Proofy lets you identify yourself to Web3 projects and do like a KYC without sharing your personal details. This is really important for Web3 because you don't want to be giving your passport, your wallet, your license details to some random casino or a Web3 game. So we made this technology that acts as a middleman for that. We then created the world's first RWA wallet. Okay, we launched it in December. We've had 13,000 downloads so far. We've done some cool activations. We tokenized the rare Michael Jordan basketball card, and this is actually going to be the host for our tokenized assets. We also created, and I wrote the light paper for a technology called Ownables. So Ownables, they're kind of like NFTs on steroids. So what Ownables are, they're a complete digital asset which are decentralized and they live in your pocket. So the actual asset, whether it's art, media, anything like that, they don't live on like a random server. They can get 404'd and disconnected. They actually live in your wallet. So I'm going to show you a couple of things that Ownables can do, and we've got a little demo if Killian in the back can switch to the tab. So these are some of our Ownables over here. They will live with you in your native iOS app, but here this is like our SDK. So this is for developers and this is what they'll see. So I've got a few examples of Ownables. We've got this potion. So this is dynamic, and this is what's called a consumable ownable. So what that means is that every time you interact with it, the interaction, it's recorded on the blockchain, it is forever. Okay? And this can be used in gaming, in all sorts of assets, and this is all the interactions that have happened. So if we can click drink, and do it a couple more times, even until it's almost depleted. So each time you drink it, this is recorded. Each drinking of that potion is recorded on a blockchain. And once that asset is used up, it's gone forever. So think of it as like a health potion in a game or some other kind of thing that you know, crazy boffins will come up with. Then we've got the cookie, which uses the same thing. Nom, 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 let's eat the cookie. Let's have a couple of bites. And that cookie, each time you take a bite, that's recorded on the blockchain. And this is all embedded into the actual asset package. So another type of demo that we've got this robot over here. So this robot is like a master ownable, and it has these other two ownables, which are all separate assets, and they can be consumed by the robot. So this shield, we're going to consume that. And that shield has been consumed, and now it is gone forever. No one can consume that ever again, okay? And same with this paint. Yeah, so all these assets, they're there. So we looked at this and we started to think, what else can we do for music, okay, which is where my background is, and what else can we do for fans and collectibles? So we created, and we're launching this today, we call it the Tay Tay Ownable as our working thing. We'll probably get sued, but it's got a couple little functions. So an NFT can usually be one thing, but here, if you actually see these two little dots, you can click that, and that can contain other things from the musician, which when I grew up, you would buy a record or a CD, and inside the CD, you would get like stickers, a little booklet, and some stuff that made you feel really connected to the artist. You know, you had true ownership of something that made you feel special. And we've also got some music, which you probably don't really want to hear, but that's also embedded in the package as well. And this type of asset, you can use it to create some sort of fan connection, you know, in a decentralized way. So going back to ownables, we've got an upcoming platform called Equity. And now Equity is going to be a full RWA tokenization platform. It uses ownables as the backbone. So what you do is you get assets from the real world, you tokenize it using ownables. How is that done? We have a law firm that is the Netherlands' largest legal notary, and they are run by our founders. They underwrite every asset that we create. So the assets that go on our blockchain are legally verifiable. They actually matter, and you can claim back and have legal ownership of them back in the real world. So it's a bi-directional layer. So we're launching our NFT platform, RWA platform there. And to kick things off, we've tokenized, if we go to the next slide, a little package from a famous Dutch artist called Joseph Kubanski. He has custom made a commissioned artwork for us called the LTO Tree of Life. And if you come to our booth, we'll be able to give you guys fractions of this real artwork to store in your wallet when you download the LTO wallet. So look, at the end of the day, we think that the artists of the world, they're going to need tools like this to create real connections between the decentralized world and the real world. And we hope to be the technology layer that does it. Thank you. Cool.